this is going to trial, so
Yeah.
this is, we have to be very careful of how deep we get into this. But as you get there, you realize your officers are shot. This has got to be chaotic for you.
Yes.
I mean, this has got to be just off the chain. You've got 2 officers down, but you don't know what happened.
It was probably, by this time, it was probably maybe 2 in the morning. My phone rings because I can't sleep. Like I said, one of my best friends was just killed.
All right, welcome to our main interview of the show today. And with us, seated next to me is Chief Marlon Walker from the Hermann Police Department. And next to him is Chief Neese of the New Haven Police Department. And then, of course, our wonderful co-host, JJ.
Yeah.
Okay. And JJ, explain how we got Marlon and Chris on the show this week.
A couple months ago, I was looking. I don't know what I was just on the internet looking for different things, and I came across this story of the Hermann police officer, and I kind of remembered it a couple of years ago when this happened. So I just started looking at it and reading it. It's an interesting story. It's a sad story. There's some human interest in it. The people stepped up and took care of some of the officers, and I got a hold of. I found out the new chief of New Haven, and I don't know how I figured out to call you, but I ended up calling Chief Neese. I called the dispatcher somehow, and they passed the message on. He called me right back, and we started talking. I asked him to come on the podcast. It's a great. I keep saying great story. It's not a great story. It's a sad story, but it's interesting and it needs to be told. And pretty much it.
Thank you guys for coming on the show, Chief.
Appreciate it.
Chief Walker, explain to us where is, for some of the, obviously a lot of people know Hermann for the wineries, but where is Hermann in relation to St. Louis? And give us a background of your department.
It's a little bit over an hour west of St. Louis, along the Missouri River off of Highway 19, little German community, about 2,000 something people. So wine industry known for its wineries and Oktoberfest and MyFest. So it's what we're known for. We have a small department, about 7 officers full-time with me and about 6 or 7 reserve officers.
Okay, and then those you use that during the wineries. I'm sure all of you guys are pretty busy when the
yeah,
winery
we all work.
season.
Plus, I bring in additional about 15 extra officers from other agencies to help out.
And Chief Neese, were you involved with the Hermann area during the time we're going to talk about, which was in March of 2023?
Well, during the time of the actual shooting, I worked for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. I was a canine handler and on the traffic unit. But prior to me going to Franklin County, I started my law enforcement career with Hermann, and I lived in Hermann, and Chief Walker here was actually my FTO. So
Yeah.
Was he a good FTO?
he was good. Hermann is very slow, just like New Haven. There's a lot of things that a lot of nights that are pretty slow. So there's some nights where we'd be driving around. I'd look over at my FTO and he's just drooling.
That is not true.
That Chiefs don't do that.
No.
Well, he wasn't chief then, so
Sergeant then.
This is Sergeant then. Now, how was he as a patrolman? Or how did he learn well?
Oh, yeah, he was great. So,
Took instruction well?
yeah, hands-on and a go-getter. So, yeah.
And both of you become chiefs of now is New Haven neighboring to Hermann?
Yes.
it's about 13 miles east. But
Do they butt up to each other?
well, there's a small little town called Berger in between, but it's only maybe 200 people.
Now, does New Haven have wineries too, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you guys get to booze at the wineries a lot?
No, I don't.
You get
drink
free
much.
wine?
I haven't been to any of the New Haven wineries, but I have gone to the Hermann ones, and they are nice.
Yeah, I got a couple stories from them. We'll
So do
save
I.
those. But so Chief Walker, take us to the day that this happened. I believe it was on May 12th of 2023.
That's correct, yes.
And were you the chief at the time?
Yes, I was chief.
Okay, so take us to that day, and how did the call come out? Where did it come out? And just give us a little overview.
Well, I received a call at home to respond to Casey's officer involved shooting and needed to get to Casey's. At the time, didn't know what officer was shot.
That's Casey's
Casey's in
convenience
Hermann.
store, the
Gas
store,
station,
yeah,
yes.
the country store.
Pretty much got a call from dispatch, hysterical, officer down to get to Casey's, and immediately got to Casey's as fast as possible, and didn't realize both my officers had been shot when I arrived on scene.
You did not realize that until
No,
you got
until
there?
I got on scene that both officers had been shot.
Did you beat the ambulance and all that there?
I was the first one on scene.
First one there.
Yes.
So your home is, you live in the area?
Within less than 2 minutes probably from cases.
Okay. So you weren't monitoring it at the time?
No,
'Cause what time did it happen?
I was in the evening. So I was sitting at home and got the call.
And
So
Casey's that was just brand new there in the community.
it's fairly
wasn't it?
new. Yeah, it's a newer store. It was a new one they built.
And how did the call come out that the officers responded to?
Originally, they were there to make an arrest attempt.
For the individual?
Yes.
Okay. And then, and this is going to trial, so
Yeah.
this is, we have to be very careful of how deep we get into this. But as you get there, you realize your officers are shot. Do witnesses stick around? And, I'm sorry, is the bad guy still there when you get there?
No,
And
he's
then,
not. He's
so
not
now
in the scene anymore.
you're probably you're in life-saving mode first.
Pretty much, yes.
And where are when you get there, lay out how the officers,
Again, getting into not too much inside the gas station there.
and they were both, you could clearly see they were both shot. Were they both down?
Yes.
And they were not responsive.
Adam wasn't. Mason was.
Really?
Mason was the one that
Yes.
ended
Yes.
up passing away.
Yes.
So let's go to these officers. Explain who these officers are.
Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith had been on the force for a while, and Adam Sullentrup had only been with our department for about 4 months.
And then, so you come in, you're greeted, greeted by the store person first?
Pretty much
Not
staff.
greeted, but
Staff directed me in and immediately entered the store. And
so and then I'm just going, this has got to be chaotic for you.
yes,
I mean, this has got to be just off the chain. You've got 2 officers down, but you don't know what happened.
no, I didn't know what
So
happened.
you're probably thinking, do I need to know what happened, or do I need to tend to these officers?
Main thing is I knew the suspect wasn't on the scene, so I was making sure, checking on my officers and getting help there as fast as possible.
Now, how long? Go ahead.
Nice. Did you know? Obviously, we know who the suspect is now.
Yes.
Did someone know who he was by name? Was he a known person in the
No.
So he was just kind of a drifter.
Yes.
Okay.
So then,
No, I mean one more thing. So I was kind of curious because I know Mason was one of your good friends.
Mhm.
So when did you find out?
So I was sitting at home because, like I said, I'm attached to the traffic unit whenever I was with Franklin County, and I had a canine, and I had just gotten Dino, which was my canine, and I had just gotten off the phone with Mason probably the day before, and we were talking about that because he thought that was just the coolest thing that I had a dog, and so whenever I was the sergeant in Hermann, and whenever I left, he took over as the sergeant.
Okay.
And so I knew that whenever we got the blue alert, I knew that would have been my day to work. So my mind immediately goes, okay, Mason's working. I know that unless he took off, but this is his schedule. So I got on Snapchat and I could see his location on Snapchat, and it showed that he was at the Hermann hospital. And so I was like, okay, he's at the hospital. Hopefully we're good. You're at the hospital. Maybe it's just a flesh wound and it's nothing, major. And so I kind of just let it go. Well, then word started trickling in that an officer had been killed. Well, I didn't know because there was 2 on. I didn't know who the second one was.
Did you know Adam at the time?
I knew Adam at the time. So when he was at New Haven, he would assist me on traffic stops or different sorts of things like that. And then because New Haven usually only had 1 guy on, I would assist him with different things, domestics or whatever it may be, just to help him out, give him a little backup. So I knew him on a work level, but not a personal level like I did Mason.
and you knew Mason at a personal level, and Mason, just to clear this up, Mason was the officer that passed away during this incident.
Yes.
And then Adam is he survived. Well, we'll get into all that, but Chief Walker, going back to that scene, and you're chaotic, and who starts showing up to where you guys can start getting to who did this?
Once I put the call out that I needed assistance, pretty much everyone was coming.
Right.
Highway Patrol,
Sheriff's Department, Highway Patrol, other
Franklin County.
municipalities. I mean, everyone showed up from everywhere.
So, and again, chaotic.
Yes.
You're all over the place.
Yeah,
Welcome
it was
to,
just craziness.
So as you get your 2 officers off, do you stick around or do you go to the hospital?
I'm at the hospital.
So and you just let other people do the
Yeah,
investigation?
the Sheriff's Department and them took over and handled everything from there, and I was mainly at the hospital with my officers.
So your officers, let's go to, they get the call, to make an arrest attempt on this guy? What was he wanted for?
Obviously, the shooting that took place there. So
No. When they got
originally, he
shot,
was
when they were-
wanted.
Wasn't it like driving while revoked
It was
warrant?
a couple
and
warrants out of some other.
It was something
agency.
very
and they
minor.
knew him.
We didn't know him personally. They just knew he was wanted for the. Went there to make the arrest. Yeah.
Was he there causing trouble at the gas
No.
station? He was
No, it wasn't causing any trouble. Nothing.
just
no.
there.
Yes.
Okay.
So they go in, they try to make this arrest, and
Try
to
to
not get-
make the arrest, and things went south pretty quick.
then he's got a gun and he shoots them. Where do they each get shot? In the part of
Again-
their bodies.
With the case, I don't want to get
Okay.
too much out there with the trial coming up. So, but they were both shot.
Okay.
So
And then, so when do you learn? Are they keeping you up to date of who this guy is while you're in the
yeah,
hospital?
best they can. Yeah.
And then what's the guy's name, JJ?
Which one?
The bad guy's name.
Oh, Kenneth Lee Simpson.
Kenneth Lee Simpson. So now you're getting word that it's him, and then there ends up being a standoff.
Yes, that's correct.
How do they find out where he's at?
We received information about his location, and that's when they surrounded the residence.
How far from the Casey's was it? It was relatively close.
A couple 100 feet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, just pretty much right across the highway.
Well, I saw I did some read some articles, saw some pictures, and saw the video of them taking him into custody. I guess that was the state highway patrol.
State Highway Patrol SWAT units.
SWAT
yes.
team. Okay, and then the house. It looked like kind of didn't look like Hermann, Missouri to me. It looked like it belonged in some rundown area. It was kind of a fallen apart house, is what I.
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Just not junk and stuff in the yard.
Yes.
Okay, it was kind of out of place for me to see that. I thought it was kind of weird, but anyway.
So the SWAT gets there. How long does the standoff last?
All through the night into the next afternoon.
It was like 14 hours, I think.
Yes.
Right?
It's pretty long.
And how did they get him out?
He eventually came out.
Did they gas him or did he just come out?
They used quite a bit of gas. Yeah.
He
Eventually
used
came
to be
out.
in SWAT,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah,
Eventually
quite a
came
bit of
out.
gas.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
gassed the heck out of that house.
Yeah.
But and then they get him in. What did he?
Can't we get into
I guess
we
we
don't
can't
want
get
to talk
into
about the
it, but
trial.
what did,
The trial's coming up
Yeah, trial's
next
January
January
26th.
20. Yeah.
And he's going. They're going for the death penalty.
Yep.
I believe
too,
so, yes.
Aren't they?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
So to get back to Chief Neese, you knowing all these guys that night, what do you do that night?
So like I said, I was watching TV with my wife when we got the blue alert, and I immediately looked at Snapchat. I saw Mason was at the hospital, so I knew that he was definitely working, and I assumed, hey, hopefully you're at the hospital and you're getting worked on and everything's good. Then it slowly trickled in that one was killed and then one was hurt. And it was going back and forth on who was actually killed.
Wow.
You know, I had several people that, would say it was Mason. I had several people say that it was Adam. So I didn't really know. And then I did get the word that it was for sure Mason. Well, a few hours went by. It was probably, by this time, it was probably maybe 2 a.m. My phone rings because I can't sleep. Like I said, one of my best friends was just killed and I can't sleep. And I'm just sitting there and I'm trying to sleep, phone's off, and my phone goes off. And so I look at it because, who's trying to call me at 2, 3 a.m, whatever it was. And it said 503 Mason Griffith. And I was like, this is really freaking creepy. So I'm like, hello? And it was his widow at the time, Jen. And she said, hey, I don't know if you heard. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I've heard. And so she gave me the rundown. And she's like, we just picked up his stuff from the hospital. I said, okay, well, that explains why, it showed his location at the hospital. So that's how I came to know everything. It was just a wild night.
I heard. I believe I read it today that is it true that the wife was listening to the what do you call it, scanner, and heard that there was a call that came out at Casey's, and then she heard on the scanner that there was officer shot.
I believe, and I don't think this will have any impact on the trial, but I believe
You're not
that,
testifying. So.
Yeah, I'm not testifying.
I read about it, so
Well, and from what I remember, or if I recall correctly, I believe Jen was actually on the phone with Mason, and Mason said, "Hey, we're getting ready to go do this. I'll call you back in a little bit." Well, yes, they are a family that lives by the scanner. They have the scanner on all the time. So she was listening, so she heard it, and that's how she first found out something had happened because she heard it on the scanner.
Wow.
Scanner, then Facebook, and so it was just.
Well, I can see the confusion. You said earlier they didn't know which one you get back and forth. because you said Mason was he how alert was he when you got to the scene?
I was speaking to him, trying
Wow.
to keep him calm and things like that.
Holy cow!
And Adam was not.
Right.
No,
That's where I can see the.
No,
that's
he's
where
not
the confusion
responsive
probably
at all,
came
no.
in.
Yeah, that's where who might have been passed
Right,
away.
right,
Probably.
right.
yes.
Chief, can you tell us a little bit about Mason as a man? I mean, what's his background? What his family?
He was a great man. Like, he was a good family man. His youngest son Carson, they would go out and they would trap raccoons. He has a very weird menu of food. He's an interesting guy when it comes to that. He actually put me in the hospital one time. He made me breakfast for my birthday when we were working night shift one time, and a few hours later I ended up in the hospital, and so I never allowed him to cook for me again. But
Are you sure it was his cooking?
yeah, I'm blaming it on that. But no, he was great, and he was also the chief of Rosebud. So Rosebud is a small little town. I don't know, maybe 300
Yeah,
people.
a couple hundred people's not
Yeah.
big.
And so
I used to call him Rosebud as a salesman.
yeah, so he
Of your salon, of your. He used to sell hair gel.
so he was the chief there, and I mean he was so involved in that community. When this happened, it didn't only affect Hermann, but it affected Rosebud as well. I mean, the whole area was just turned upside down.
I need to clear some up. He was the chief of Rosebud,
Correct.
but he's also working for Hermann.
Yeah, so Rosebud is a part-time police department. They only work a certain amount of hours, but he was the chief of Rosebud. So whenever I was the sergeant in Hermann, he was the chief of Rosebud. And he asked me to come work with him at Rosebud as just a helping hand and stuff like that. So at Rosebud, he got to tell me what to do. And at Hermann, I got to tell him what to do. So it kind of worked out. So if he had a rough week with me at Hermann, then I had a rough
That's
week.
common for smaller departments
Yeah.
and smaller
Yes.
areas that you do work several different places, and it's an
Right.
hourly wage for some,
Yes.
Yeah.
salary at the others, and you guys all know each other, and you guys stay close to each other because
Exactly.
of stuff like that, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
He
And,
also worked for the sheriff's department too, so he had numerous jobs. I mean, that's law
Yeah, he
enforcement
wore
was his
many
job.
hats. So
So let's talk a little bit about Adam. What kind of person, what kind of officer was Adam?
Just in the time that he worked for me, I mean, he was a great guy, big into fitness, his family. I mean, he was a great guy and just really loved the community. And the citizens took to him and Mason. So he was a great guy.
How
He
long
still
had
is.
he been on when
Just
this
a
happened?
couple months.
Really? And
for
was
us.
this his first job as
No,
an
he
officer?
prior to that, he worked for the city of New Haven before coming to us. So he had like maybe 5 years on with New Haven before working for us, coming to us.
And explain and just go through a little bit of how long it took him to get home. He survived. How long did it take him to get home?
Well, the shooting happened March 12th, and he was home before Thanksgiving.
So a pretty lengthy period.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, so-
and talk a little bit about the. Did he live in Hermann,
No, he lived in Washington, Missouri.
Washington, Missouri? But there
Yes.
was I think I saw something about a parade you guys put on.
Well, they had a
Welcome
once
home
he flew
parade.
home to St. Louis to Lambert, and we escorted him with State Patrol, numerous agencies from around the area.
Right.
Escorted him all the way back home from Lambert to Washington. So that was a pretty amazing sight to see, just the number of agencies and people out supporting him and congratulating him
that
coming
is-
home.
I mean,
so
I always said there's only a couple reasons they closed down highways, and
so
it's
it was
unfortunate.
pretty
One
much
of
from
them was-
Lambert 70 to 270 to 44 to 100 was shut down
and they should
all the way.
Again, it's
Presidents.
unfortunate
It was
that of the circumstances we do
Pretty-
that.
pretty
but
amazing.
It is pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive to see that how they took care of that and got him home, and the welcome he had coming home from the citizens and everyone along the interstate, the flags and fire departments, everyone just welcomed him home for Thanksgiving.
That's touching.
I don't know how much more you want to go on this, but let's talk. I want to talk to you about New Haven was a police department, and they closed it down for a year,
yes.
and then now they want to bring it back, and now you are the new chief of New Haven, and you're still in the process of getting officers. You're interviewing now. I know you haven't hired anyone yet. I don't believe.
We have a couple in the background phase.
Right.
So once they get through that, as long as nothing pops up on that, then we'll have 2 for sure. And then so New Haven is a small department. It's again a town of 2,500. It's kind of like Hermann. We have seven people. So if we were to get 2, that puts us at 3 total, including me. and then we only need 4 more.
How
One of the
many
neat-
full time? These we full time officers.
7 full time. So before they disbanded, they had it on the books for like, I don't know, 7 or 8 part-time guys. And my opinion is when you hire part-time guys, you're going to get part-time quality. And so they have full-time obligations elsewhere. So they're not going to do the best because they don't want to go to court. And I don't blame them. They have full-time obligations elsewhere. So I told the board, I said, why don't we get rid of this part-time section and put it towards the officers that want to be here full-time, and then we can get better quality for the city. Because the city disbanded in February of 24, and then I just took over in January of 25. So, you can't disband again. If you disband again, you'll never get it back.
And part of your agreement to become the chief, you gave him a there's something you put in the contract that you wanted to do, and you want to explain that about Adam.
Well, I asked for 2 things. I asked for a pay scale, so I wrote up a pay scale. So Franklin County has Franklin County, Washington, Union, Sullivan, St. Clair, Pacific, Gerald, and New Haven as agencies within the county. Used to, New Haven was the second to last paid department in the county. We are now the 4th highest. I asked for a pay scale where you pay for years of service. So now the pay range is anywhere from $26 to $34 an hour, depending on your years of service. So if you are, say, a 15-year guy, our service counts 1 for 1. So if you have 15 years at, say, Ellisville, and you wanted to come out to New Haven and just have, work in a town kind of like Mayberry where not much happens.
Candyland?
Yeah. So if you want to work out there, then, your 15 years counts as that. So, you can make 70,000, driving around waving at people. And ultimately, what I wanted to do with the pay scale is let's get quality. I don't care about quantity, because I'm not going to hire somebody just because they breathe oxygen, because that's how you ended up in the spot that you ended up to begin with. So I want this pay scale. That way we can get quality officers in here, so people that know what they're doing. Now, yes, it is more laid back. We don't have a lot of calls. We don't have anything crazy. But as we saw in Hermann, anything can happen at any time.
Never know.
So when something does happen with those quality officers, what you get is you get people that know what the hell to do. So that is one thing that I stressed to them. The second thing was I want to bring Adam on as a public relations
And that's Adam
specialist.
Sullentrup, the
Adam
person that
Sullentrup,
was injured
yes.
and survived the shooting.
Yes. So I told them, I want to bring him on as a public relations specialist. He doesn't get paid. He doesn't have a badge. He doesn't have a gun. Ultimately, what I told him whenever I sat down with him after I spoke with his wife, I said, Adam, I can't give you your career back. Unfortunately, that was taken from you on that night in March. But I can give it back as much as possible. So instead of him sitting at home, going through the scenario of what happened, now he is as much of a part of law enforcement that he'll ever be able to be. He'll never be 100%. So this gives him the opportunity to get back in. He served the New Haven community for 5 years, and everybody loved him. So to bring him back is just a staple. And we've already had several PR events where he has been, and the community just flocks to him. He's a symbol of resilience. He got shot. He went to Colorado. Is that where he went? Yeah, he went to Colorado. He came back home. He kept fighting, and now he is back in whenever I gave him his polo, you would have thought it was Christmas and he was a child. He stayed in it for a while. So
you've given him purpose, man.
Right. And and I even told him and Michelle, I said, even if you're just bored, and you want to just come right along, as long as we have other guys working, because I don't want to put him in any dangerous situations, obviously. So, but if he gets anxious, if he gets bored, his wife is a paramedic there in town, so I could drop him off at the ambulance bay. And they actually just closed on their land, I believe last week. The Gary Sinise Foundation is building them a house in between New Haven and Washington, and so it'll be a lot closer. Yeah, so so that'll be good, and it's one of those smart homes or something. So so that'll be really good for them.
We often talk about a lot of the hate that goes towards law enforcement, right? Just in general.
Yes.
But in a situation like this, you guys saw it firsthand. is how much people really, really love law enforcement.
Yeah, it was the night this originally happened up until even now, just the amount of support that came out from the community and surrounding agencies and communities, how much they came together and supported us and the families of Mason and Adam. And it's just been amazing just to see that.
Right.
Because
And-
most days you see people disliking police or talking down on us. But when this happened, everybody came together and just, it
And
was
it's
just amazing.
fun. It's neat. Again, and it's unfortunate, but it's also
Yeah.
heartwarming.
Yes, it was.
You know, and then talk a little bit about the organization that sprung from this unfortunate death.
So Mason's widow, Jen Griffith, she and her mother have this organization called the Chief Mason Griffith Foundation. And so what it is it's a foundation that is kind of like a Backstoppers, but you can help buy sponsorship and stuff like that and donate to their foundation. And last year they said that they gave $175,000 to local first responders that were in need of aid, whether it be maybe the first responder themselves passed away, got cancer, whatever it may be. They helped with any sort of financial burden. This year, and we're not even through January, they've already, I believe they said earlier today, they've already done 70,000.
Wow.
And how can people donate?
So how can people donate? They go to the website, Mason Griffith Foundation, or email, the Mason Griffith Foundation at gmail.com, or the website is www.tcmgf.org.
I think, John, you can put it on the
We'll put it on them. We'll put it on them
podcast.
on the
Definitely,
show.
yeah.
Yep. And like I said, they go, and it's just an additional help that people can get besides Backstoppers. Backstoppers is a great thing, but any sort of extra financial assistance that you can get to take that burden off you, just like when we had a firefighter that passed away in Columbia. When the family came out, they assisted with getting the family hotel rooms and just making the stay as enjoyable is not the right word, but as easy as possible. More comfortable, yes. So it's a great foundation. They also opened up a store in Rosebud where they sell law enforcement equipment. They sell boots, they sell uniforms, they sell all kinds of stuff. And their goal is to just make it as big of an organization,
That's awesome.
as Backstoppers, so they can help those families. That's ultimately what they're wanting to do, is help
That's great.
first responders and their families.
And I keep going to the wineries. How much do you guys get problems out of the wineries at all?
No, not really.
Used to.
I mean, used to be years, but it's more. It's late. I mean, people behave, and I mean, you get some people get a little rowdy and can't handle the wine, but most part,
I was there.
it's
Yeah.
people behave and enjoy themselves. Every now and then we have some people that get online, but we deal with them.
How long overall have you been in Hermann?
I've been in Hermann since 2003 is when I started.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
You like it?
Yeah, I've
You've been the
been
chief
there
that
raised-
long? Or?
I've been chief since 2015.
Okay.
But yeah, I've raised my children there. I went to school there, so I've been my whole career's been there.
That's fantastic.
My first shift was the third Saturday, which was October 17th of 2011. And the third Saturday is known as college weekend.
Uh-oh.
And so
Yeah.
I didn't really know what to expect. And I thought, Herman's a small town, That night, I was like, if this is how it is every day, I'm like, we're in Gasconade County. What happened? But no, it was definitely an eye opener. And then once Oktoberfest ends,
Quiet as a mouse.
the streets roll up and you have nothing to do. And it's like, okay, this is a whole different environment. But
Yeah, we still have tourism. I mean, even after October, all through Christmas, people still come out and shop in the wineries if the weather's nice. It's still most part of the year first part of the year until March or so, it really starts picking up. But obviously, it's a big tourist community, and people still come from all over the United States and for the wine industry and the shopping. And
It's one of the most beautiful areas in the Missouri. It's
Yes.
rolling hills. It's just a beautiful area, and it's a neat area.
Lends itself to drinking and beautiful scenery.
That's why I remember I had a motorcycle back in the day, and we would all ride out in that area towards there, and we'd go to New Haven and we'd drive through all those towns. And it was always neat.
oh yeah,
Country roads.
Well, you guys drove in an hour to sit down with us, and we really appreciate that.
I appreciate you
thank
having
you,
us.
thank you.
And we wish you guys the best in the upcoming trial, obviously. Get this guy what he deserves. And then the both of you are still tight with their families, and that's neat to see, And Really appreciate you guys coming by.
Well,
Well,
thanks
thank you for having us.
Thank
Do
you.
you have anything else you want to plug or anything?
No, just, again, thank you for having us and being here and what you do and everything. So
You still taking applicants?
Yes, we are still
Yeah,
taking
what-
applicants.
You can have JJ.
I was gonna say, what will I start out at? I got 32 years on in the city.
So we have a top out. So I can't give you,
It's still probably more what I'm making.
yeah. So we top out at I believe it's 30, 34, 35. I have to look
He'll
at it. But
take
it's like $34, $35 an hour. And for the workload, it's a good amount of money.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
like I told the city, I said ultimately, I want to pay for quality. That way, if something were to happen, hopefully nothing happens. But if something were to happen, I know I have guys there that know how to handle themselves, and I don't have to worry about ending up on YouTube or TikTok.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
Herman, I still have one opening that I'm still trying to fill. If anybody's interested or wants to come out to wine country and work, I have an opening out there also. So
but check us out first.
You got a
So,
room you can put me up in?
we can probably find something.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're out.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back, listeners, to the Brighter Side of Blue, our worldwide podcast coming to you almost live from Columbo's Cafe and Tavern in Dogtown, St. Louis, home of the famous Seabo's Thin Crust Pizza and daily lunch specials. Major Mike Mueller's out there. He's got 3 of the pies in front of him right now. Seabo's going. I'm Danny.
I'm Tommy.
I'm JJ.
Producer John.
Producer John in the house. Tommy, you guys squeezed me out on the interview tonight.
Yes, we did. We figured there were one too many, and you were the one.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would be hurt, have their
No,
feelings
you,
hurt.
you,
None.
you were elated.
I was totally cool with the whole process, and
Wait a minute, wasn't his idea not to do it?
He knows that he's going to say. I would imagine that's going to be a common thing going forward.
there's only so much room at the table.
Right?
You know what? You're going to have to change the opening because we're not going to be almost live forever.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys have some big things going on with producer Jake and Jack. What do we got coming?
Yeah, we're going to be going live on Thursday nights, 6 o'clock. Now we're not.
So there's no net to catch us?
Yeah, what are we
going
gonna do with JJ Zen when he butchers 4 JJ Zens in a row?
Oh, we're gonna quit
Go out.
doing Zens.
No, we're
done with-
not. It's wildly
We're going
popular.
to
you know,
send more than ever then.
First of all, you've never cut out any of my screw ups, so why think this is
I
going to
think
change?
we have.
Oh,
I'm
no
pretty
way.
sure we have.
No, you have. No way.
We've
Tell
cut
us
out a lot
more.
of things over the years.
Tell
but,
us more.
John, go ahead. Let us know what's going to happen. We talked with Jack yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to have to work out some technical issues, but probably mid to late February we're going to do the setups live on Thursdays around 6, but they'll also be part of the total.
The total
podcast
package, like
that
you.
comes
You're the
out on
total
Monday.
package.
Yeah, I'm the original total package, package liquor. But it'll. But so if you missed the live version, it'll still be part of the Monday full
Monty,
podcast.
the full Monty on Monday.
Correct.
If you do want to see the bloopers, you will have to tune in live because if there is an egregious one, we're just going to whack that out and put it out on Monday.
Well, the other good thing too is people will have the ability to go online and ask questions, make comments, insults, whatever, confessions, whatever.
And
they
we'll
wanna
have a
do.
mechanism to see them live and respond to them,
And then I will pick the ones out that I think are the most hilarious.
or the most damning to JJ.
What's going to be really disheartening is when we're doing it live and no one makes any
Comments.
comments.
We'll
Or
make.
Well, then
We're hoping we
we're
get past
going to
that.
pay people to do that.
Have Vin Lee call. Vin Lee.
Vinley.
Vin Yi.
I can't read. I can't read Chinese, so
That's good. That sounds interesting. So mid February maybe.
mid
We might be
mid
going
to late
live.
February. yeah.
The Brighter Side of Blue is going
Little
live.
happy hour. Little happy hour, 6 o'clock. Grab your drinks. Pull up YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube.
Has Mary Michelle approved this?
I think she's a fan of this.
Okay.
I think she's going to be a fan of this.
She has no idea about this, I'm guessing. But let
Yeah,
me just
but
say,
she's gonna be a fan
I'm
of
just. I hope so. I do think that this is the first time we've been back in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's the first original. We've been kind of
You got
busy.
a couple comments on that too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm saying the
Oh,
missed the
good.
3 you clowns all together.
Yeah. I missed you, JJ.
I appreciate that.
I really did.
I know you did. You keep texting me all the time. You got to get off over that.
I just miss you. Hey, so that's interesting. But this is our first podcast. We're all back together since a pretty big event happened on Monday in the icy cold out in Washington, D.C. Producer John, the inauguration of Donald J. Trump.
The second inauguration, I openly cried for hours Monday in cheer.
I mean,
In cheer, yeah, in cheer.
Yep.
Guess which way he was crying for? Why was he crying?
Yeah.
Happy cry, sad cry.
It was so cold that
Very
it was moved inside, and the last time that had to happen was when Ronald Reagan was inaugurated.
Wow, two of the best.
Yeah.
There we go. The non-political show moves on.
So yeah, it is. But I'm going to take this opportunity to make the audience smarter with my useless facts
So we're
covering around the inauguration.
breaking new ground. This is the first time
What do you mean?
that we're gonna make the audience smarter.
No, I've been making them smarter for what is our 60th episode. If we
rolling, baby.
yeah,
Keep
And
going.
9 million people have heard, are smarter now than they were
exactly.
before
9
they started
million.
listening.
Okay.
We have 27 million listeners, so only 9 million of them are smarter, but
Some of them went backwards.
some of them are dumber from listening to us.
True.
There's all kinds of interesting things around inaugurations.
Let's hear him, Danny.
Well, one, there have been more inaugurations on March 4th. Did you know this, Producer John?
No.
Everybody thinks it's January 20th. Actually, there's been like 30-something. The date used to be March 4th,
Did not know that.
and now it's January 20th. So
When was the elections?
what do you mean?
The election was the same date then too.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the dates of the elections, JJ. But
You're
They
trying
were-
to make us smarter.
But here's what I know: the elections were before March 4th back in the day,
Okay.
and then they were before January 20th currently, because that's how you know who was going to be inaugurated.
It took a long time to get your wagon train headed to D.C. back then. You won in November, and you had to pack all your shit
Oh yeah.
and then get in the wagon and go. To,
No, there's a truth to that. I read something about that actual thing.
Now
It's
is he-
100% true.
You made me smarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just made that up, didn't you?
No,
That's
no.
pretty
He
good.
did not make that up. I read something about that. I'm gonna go through my notes and find some of the most, what I feel like are the interesting tidbits of inauguration trivia.
Here we go.
The shortest inauguration speech in the history of inaugurations was on March 4th, 1793, by George Washington. 135 words. George went up there, got in, got out on March 4th, and said, "I'm going to read it.
All right. Let's hear it.
I'm going to take our listeners back in time to hear what George said." It was 2 paragraphs, George Washington.
Okay, shoot.
Let's hear it.
But before I say it, I would like to say, I'm glad we don't talk like this anymore.
Oh, so you're using like the
No,
TF.
just the actual words that
Should we do
President
the-
Washington used.
I
Should we
think we
do the
should bring it
national
back.
anthem or the Pledge of
National
Allegiance first? That's our national anthem. All right.
So here is the shortest inauguration speech in history.
Let's hear it.
George Washington in 1793. Fellow citizens, I am again called upon by the voice of my country to execute the functions of its chief magistrate. When the occasion proper for it shall arrive, I shall endeavor to express the high sense I entertain of this distinguished honor and of the confidence which has been reposed in me by the people of United America. Who talks like that? Previous to the execution of my official act of the President, the Constitution requires an oath of office. This oath I am now about to take, and in your presence. That if shall be found during my administration of the government, I have in any instance violated willingly or knowingly the injunctions thereof, I may be subject to the upbraidings of all who are now witnesses of the present solemn ceremony. George Washington. That's it. That was an entire inauguration speech.
Then he went.
I like it. Quick and to the point.
But I mean, can you imagine this? But
I heard Biden's was the second shortest.
I'm not even going there. I'm not taking your bait.
George Washington, right, as soon as he got done with that, he signed an executive order and pardoned all the Boston Tea Party people.
The longest inaugural address was in 1841 by William Henry Harrison, the 9th U.S. president.
Bill.
8,445 words, 1 hour and 45 minutes. So I'm going to read that real quick. but seriously, what's interesting about President William Henry Harrison, his inaugural speech was 1 hour and 45 minutes, but he got pneumonia and died 30 days later. He holds the record for the shortest presidency, 32 days.
In the
That's why he
longest
wanted to
speech.
talk so long.
If you figure you sleep 10 hours a day,
Well, actually, when he did that speech,
his speech was longer than his presidency.
he
If
did
you-
it in the winter cold. It was freezing cold when he did that speech.
Yeah.
He didn't wear a coat.
No.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Wear a coat.
So that long-ass
One of them
speech
football
caused his
players
death.
well, yeah.
Didn't wear nothing underneath. He just went bare chested.
So isn't that mind blowing? So the longest, an hour and 40
I will have
minutes.
to say this could be one of your better worthless information.
Yeah,
This is not
because
worthless.
it's history. But it's 32 days as president. He was gone. William Howard Taft was the heaviest president in history at 300 pounds.
He's a big man.
Biggie.
But what he was most famous for is that he was sworn in as the 27th president of the United States of America. But then 12 years later, he became the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and swore in 2 other presidents.
Wow.
So
Smart.
that's
a lot to
that's
do
some
with
crazy shit, man. I mean, that is some crazy stuff.
Especially for a big guy.
Right.
He lasted for a while.
And my last tidbit
Big E Taft.
for you guys. Warren G. Harding in 1921 became the first president to ride to and from his inauguration in an automobile. But the amazing thing is, on his way to the inauguration, he got a flat tire and had to call Schicker Ford of St. Louis's mobile service van, who came and helped him out
That's
and got
awesome.
him onto the inauguration on
Shit,
time.
You know they would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put him on the map.
And then
You can always count on
and
him.
all he said was, when you're during your speech, sir, if you would just remind America that Schicker Ford of St. Louis is sitting on like 1,500 Rams and Ford trucks, and for their pre-owned vehicles, they have phenomenal payments and financing available. And you can, I'm not 100% sure that the vehicle that Warren Harding was riding into the inauguration wasn't a Model 4T that probably, no fact checking allowed, is currently in the Schicker family.
Probably sold to
Classic
him by
car
a Schicker,
collection.
By a Schicker back in the
No,
day.
John Schicker has an amazing classic car collection, and it could be in there.
You never know.
Bet it is.
So,
You never know.
so there you have it, JJ.
That's awesome. That's a good one.
That's a good one. You got any more stuff?
No, no.
That was some of your best stuff yet.
Yeah, that was pretty good. No, that's about a wrap right there for that.
I like it. I like it. JJ,
Yeah.
you got a. We have to distinguish the whole Candyland thing. Here we go. Here we go, baby.
Here we go.
So a lot of our listeners love the old Candyland remark you made when you were somewhat arguing with Chief Steve Dodge from Sunset Hills. So one of our listeners called Haneke down there. Haneke, what is
Hardware?
Not Haneke. the
T-shirt
the
place.
T-shirt place.
Oh, yeah.
On Macklin, and Karen, who works here, had that made, and it was made for
The
special edition of Sunset Hills.
That's awesome.
He actually had that awarded to him. Greg Colombo is an alderman out in Sunset Hills, and he worked it out with the mayor that they presented that particular Candyland to him at a recent meeting, Sunset Hills meeting. So we'll put a picture of that up too.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
No,
actually, we have to
I would never leave the
distinguish
city.
Candyland. So what? And city officers have always said this, but anywhere outside the city is just Candyland. And it's all about and as the conversation we had today with our upcoming guests, in Hermann, Missouri, there was a shootout at a
Casey's
at a Casey's
gas station.
Gas station, and we talked about that with the two chiefs, Chief Marlon Walker from Hermann and Chief Chris Neese from
New Haven.
New Haven, and they just tell the story of two of their friends and coworkers got in an incident with the wanted guy. One of the officers lost their lives, and the other one survived. He's still battling and surviving. But we had a conversation with them, and again, and this does go back to Candyland, because everything, we jokingly talk about this in our own, but something bad can happen anywhere at any time. And these officers that are in smaller communities, sometimes they don't have the help that sometimes the city can provide in a quick manner. And heard a little bit about that today, and I hope everybody just can delineate. We're just giving everybody trouble about Candyland, and
Yeah.
and what we're saying is that a lot of times that it's about the times it happens, the frequency that certain things happen.
Right.
So we jokingly, as city officers, like to think that we have the most happening in our city, and again,
All right.
it's all in fun.
I also have a caveat to. I mentioned earlier in a few podcasts before about claiming whether can say that you're a city officer.
Yeah.
I got a new updated one version. Anyone that was a city officer and just decided city policing wasn't their thing, and they got out of the job completely, and they go and be an accountant or whatever, or lawyer or whatever, they can tell people that they were a city officer and clear that up. They actually did it.
Okay.
Wasn't for them. They can actually say, hey man, I tried. I was a city copper and I wanted to make money and went to a better profession.
And that's what started this whole thing. It wasn't about where's a tougher place to be a policeman or not, is whether you can claim to be a city copper or not. Because in this region, we always like to think that we're the, we deal with the worst crap, and we're the best, and it's kind of done in fun. But
we are.
But that's. Anytime you put a badge and a gun on, you're
Exactly.
taking your life in your hands, and we appreciate everything everybody does.
100%.
You got a lot of amendments. There's always an amendment with your little rule. Just sack
People
up and
ask.
settle in
did
on
it.
something.
I did. I got it all written down. I had it written down.
It's like the Constitution, all these amendments he has for
Hey,
this.
you just got to lay out the rules.
All right.
Just
Make-
saying,
make
if
them-
you're a police officer in a city, you left after I don't care how many years you did, and you left the profession, you can tell. Be proud that you were a police officer at one
Okay.
time in your
I'm
life.
sure they appreciate you giving them.
They got my approval.
Yeah, that's very good.
You know where you go if you want to stay healthy? Just
Scar place?
what's that?
Columbo's?
Colombo?
No.
Riverman's? They'll keep you healthy?
Riverman cigars.
You could go there. You can go to the Riverman Cigar Company to stay healthy. I don't know if Dan has a healthy
Cigar?
like a vegetable, like of cigars kind of thing, but he may.
So just go in there and ask him, do you have a
89,
vegetable?
84.
I actually, he gave us some cigars, and I kept them in a nice place, kept them moist, and
Feeling healthier?
I smoked a couple cigars, my brothers in Alabama last week. My son.
you're
How were they?
healthier.
How were those
They were
cigars from
smooth.
Riverman?
They were good. My brother, who's a real cigar smoker, I'm not really a cigar smoker. He enjoyed it. So did
8984 Watson Road.
Right.
Go in there and get your own.
Right.
Get your own cigars from Dan. Anywhere from the low budget $2-3 cigars up to the elite cigars in the hundreds of range. So
right.
go by and see Dan. But if you want to, I don't know if that will keep you healthy.
But if you want to get out,
However, if you want to take a different angle on healthiness, you can go to Prime Performance. And Prime Performance, you can get them on their website at primeperformancestl.com. Their locations are 1222 Central Park Drive in Illinois and 44 Fenton Plaza here in St. Louis, or just outside of St. Louis. Rediscover your prime. They offer testosterone therapy, hormone therapy, vitamin therapy, medical weight loss, IV therapy, and peptides. And that is owned and operated by former law enforcement officers, and they give discounts to former military and first responders.
and Brighter Side of Blue listeners.
And Brighter Side of Blue listeners.
And not affiliated with Bubba.
And they're not affiliated with Bubba.
Exactly. I like it.
Let's go, baby.
Okay, I love it. So, JJ, are you sitting on a Zen that you're a little nervous when we go live? You're gonna be able to carry these out.
I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Well, what do you got tonight for us?
You only live once. If you live it right, once is enough.
I like that.
All right.
You know who said that? This thing keeps getting caught up on your foot or something.
It's me.
Anyway.
I got
I'm all cut up in this. You should
I
see
keep
what I got
all
going
of a
underneath
sudden
this table.
I keep getting my head yanked to the
This
left.
live thing's going to work out great.
That's good. So, but anyway,
I'm all
May
tangled up
May
over
West said that, and no one other than the old guys to the left know who May West is.
Man, Wes was, yes.
Ricky, you
Yeah,
hear this?
we know
He's
it,
just
but I
putting
can't-
you out there.
Well, I know, but I
Ricky,
bet you
didn't you go to school at May
Jack,
West?
Jake don't know who it is. You know, May, and I
Jack's
guarantee you.
like 24 years old, dude.
I'm just saying, a lot of the young people know who May West is.
Bo, you know who May West is? May West? Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the first, yeah,
She was a bombshell.
She was. She was.
And what'd she
Marilyn
say again?
Monroe before
What'd she
Marilyn
say
Monroe.
again? Really? No, I just be clear.
You only live once. If you live it right, once is enough.
I like it.
that. You
I
on
like
the right? You on the right path, James? You like? You like the
I
way
hope
it's
so.
going?
We'll
I'm
see.
taking mine.
When I retire, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna make sure that I live it right.
There's that question that people always ask, bar talk. If you could go back to any point in your life and start there again, so you could go back now and when you're 13, and then start over again. What year would you pick?
Age wise,
Yeah,
I
age-wise.
can go without. I can tell you right now.
Go ahead.
33.
Wow. Why?
What happened
Thinking
then?
about this?
Yeah, I've thought about because you're comfortable in your career. You're not broke because you've been working a while, and you're young enough to still play sports and do whatever you need. And that's so bad.
Oh.
No, I'm just saying you're 33
Never mind.
and you're confident, and I think
Move
that's
on.
a good age.
33.
You got a little bit of respect because you've been in the job for a little while, whatever you're doing, and you're still young enough to do whatever you want.
I was thinking 35.
Are you
There go.
serious?
There you go.
Producer
I'm
John?
glad what I did. I wouldn't change what I did.
All right.
See, I wouldn't want to go back too far because I wouldn't want to change the path that got me to where I was. 33, I had my kids, everything, and there were some hard times going between them and that time. But at least you couldn't change those decisions because I would have changed those decisions. I wouldn't have the two kids that I have. So that's why 33 is a good one for me.
Producer John.
I'm good. I'm too tired to do all that shit. Just leave me where I'm at right now.
Leave me alone.
So if you can get dropped in a certain age, like I'm going to be
Yeah,
drop me
for a
right
week
in.
or something.
If it was for a week, I'd go back to junior year in high school.
Senior year college.
I'm good. I'm with John. 35 was good.
All right. All right.
I'd take 35 too.
So if we had to come up with the Mount Rushmore of TV cop partners, who would you start with? TV cop partners.
Cheech and Chong. Were they
I don't
cop
know.
partners?
No.
No.
No, they were on the
You
other
got,
side
like-
of the law.
So you go with Starsky and Hutch. You've got Ponch and John.
Tools,
got-
tools, both of them, all them tools.
Tools. So you who we got?
I'd go with Barney and Andy.
And yeah, you got that. You got the Barney Miller people.
No, Barney.
Let's just come up
Barney
with the number.
Fife.
Let's just come
Barney
up with
Fife
the
and
best.
Andy Griffith.
Let's just come up with the best
Okay.
TV partners.
Oh.
Like for who I went for myself for a partner, or who are the best partners on?
Best
You're trying
partners on
to
TV.
get us to build Mount Rushmore right now amongst the four of us.
Right.
Starsky and Hutch go up there.
Absolutely. I think they got that good ass car too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
serene.
everybody knows it. Yeah.
I think Ponch and John got to go up there, right?
From Chips.
They rode them motorcycles and shit.
I have no desire to do that work, though. I'd rather do Starsky and
What about
Hutch.
Crockett and Tubbs?
Yeah, that'd
Miami
be,
Vice?
Miami Vice?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Miami Vice.
They were
One Adam
cool.
12 was good.
One Adam 12. Yeah.
Friday and you got
Dragnet.
Dragnet. Friday. What was Friday's buddy's name? Sergeant Friday and
Ricky Ray, can you help us out?
Bo. Sergeant Friday's partner. Who was that?
Joe Cannon? No.
It was Joe. It was Joe.
Mannix? No, that's Mannix. Sorry about that.
Mannix ran
Nobody
solo,
knows.
Dude. Now would
Joe Friday?
Joe Friday, and then it was Sergeant Friday. I thought the other guy's name was Joe too.
Nick Nolte and
Oh yeah, Nick
Eddie
Nolte
Murphy?
and
and
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, but he wasn't a cop. I'd hang
Kinda
out.
like blessed him as a cop.
Right.
Bill Gannon, yeah.
Bill Gannon.
with Joe
Bill
Friday.
Gannon and Joe Friday.
Okay.
There you have it. The Mount Rushmore.
Close. We just talked about something. Let's just move it on.
Yeah, let's move it on. It's enough.
What about Pearl and JW? I think they'd be on the top. If there was a TV, people followed them. I think Pearl and JW would be up there.
That'd be a good one.
Producer John,
Present.
what are you thinking about a newsroom.com?
I'm still a little shook up about a call I got today at the headquarters.
What happened?
Vin Yee called in. He's kind of steamed.
Uh-oh. What's he pissed off
Well,
about?
we sent him out to L.A. and we kind of left him out there.
we couldn't
now
afford to
now the
fly.
whole place is on fire.
Shit, he got out, didn't he? Is he okay?
We couldn't afford to fly him back.
And I haven't been mailing per diem checks because we needed to pay our bar bill at Columbus. So I recorded it just for for legal purposes.
This is Vin Yee's phone call to you today?
Vin Yee called today, and I'm going to play it. It kind of stings.
So you're saying he's mad?
Uh-oh. Turn it up for our guests in the audience.
Brighter side of blue. Is this Vin Yee?
Hello, is this Mr. John?
This is producer John. Yeah, Vin Yee. Where you been? We've been worried about you.
Oh, someone finally answered the phone on show. I try other three and they never answer.
Are you kidding me? Why don't you call me, Vin?
I try other three. I call Mr. JJ and someone answer phone and girl voice. But I know his voice and he talk like girl. Go, hello, this Melissa, and then I hang up. I call Danielson. He pick up phone. No one speak. All I hear is bang, bang. It's just like a pickleball noise in the background. He see my name on phone and just lay it down.
Are you kidding
Then I
me?
call Mr. Tom, and Mr. Tom go right to voicemail. It just say peace. That's it. No, nothing else.
That's not right, brother.
No, I try to call away information. Nobody answer phone.
Well, you got me now, brother. How things been
Well,
going? How's your girlfriend?
I just beforehand, I just want to say, I think we need to rename show.
What do you want to rename it?
I say, based on way I have been handled, show need to be changed to busting my balls with whiter side of blue.
Busting your balls with a brighter side of blue.
I look up slang definition and it applied to show. It say to harass, nag, to accomplish something, or to tease, ridicule, or mock someone. That is what they are doing to me. I come from a country with 3,600 years of written history, rich and profound culture. I come here to take part in American podcasts, and now I feel like what Mr. Tom always say is, you a tool.
Well, I don't feel that way about you, Vin.
When I took this job, I made it clear I want to be Chinese Walter Cronkite.
Well, you're on your way to being that, my friend.
I work hard.
What's going on with the fires out there, man? You get out there and half LA's on fire now.
It's really scary. It's like living in a living hell. Fire all over the place. And then one day, I meet Chinese man. Unfortunately, I learned a hard lesson that maybe you ask people their name ahead of time. And we walk around, and police stop us. They say, "What are you doing up here?" I say, "We just look." And they said, "What's your name, to friend?" He said, "Fook you." And the police say, "What? What's your name, young man?" He said, "Fook you." And next thing I know, we getting hit with sticks and have to spend the night in jail.
What is his name? Fook you?
Yes, everything will work out. And in the end, they see your ID, they apologize, say a misunderstanding, and we get let go. But I can't hang around somebody with a name like that. We get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's just going to get you in all kinds of trouble, Vin.
You can't come to this country with a name like that.
What should he change it to?
How about just Billy or something like that?
That would cut down on the ass whoopings for sure.
I Oh no, just like old time back home.
But you haven't gotten too close to the fires?
No, I see them far away, see smoke, but where I am right now, everything good. But I also been working hard. I'm not around house a lot, but right now we okay.
Okay, well, good. You see, we've got a new president since you've been out there.
Oh yeah, I see Mr. Trump win election. I see Chinese come here. They gonna put all kinds of money, spend money. It look good, but I don't understand. I don't understand meaning what with pardon this, pardon that. All these. When I come to this country and learn language, you know, you bump into someone, you cut cheese, you say pardon. And now I just hear pardon and everybody get out of jail.
It's a different system, buddy.
I still don't understand everything here. Everything backwards.
Well, you got any Diddy updates for us?
Oh, yes, I get connected to prison guard through internet. Just
Really?
be very, very helpful.
Well, what kind of scoop you getting?
Well, apparently, from the prison guard, Diddy was granted a request to have his cell moved. Now he alongside R. Kelly.
Oh, really?
And worried about safety. I hear Diddy paying off guards for extra protection. And then the big scoop is, in order to prevent clashes with other inmates, Diddy apparently using some of his own money to start food service in prison.
Really?
He apparently come up with tasty snack cake to hand out to other inmates. They are called Little Diddy Boy Bites.
Little Diddy Boy Bites.
Yeah. Word in the prison block is that these are a big hit and very tasty.
Well, I bet. Does he make them himself?
I don't have all that information. I just know he hand them out, try to keep people off his back, if you know what I mean.
Well, especially with R. Kelly right next door.
I also want to take 1 second to congratulate a young man from back home who get contract to play hockey in minor league, hopefully to play in big league someday. He a goalie. His name is Win Wan Soon.
Win Wan Soon. Is he a fellow Chinese individual?
Yes, keep eye on him. He make NHL one day.
Well, I hope so. With a name like that, it should be a natural. Well, Vin, we're gonna have to wrap it up here a little bit. You got anything else before we shut things down?
Oh, well, thank you for answering phone. Tell other three, please pick up phone when I call, but tell them I miss everybody and I hope to be back soon and maybe do something live. But in the meantime, I still work as correspondent.
All right, well, keep up the good work. Don't catch on fire, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good speaking to you, Mr. John.
You too, Vin. Talk to you soon, bud.
Lucky's collapsed down.
Holy cow.
Done.
When?
A couple months ago.
Wow.
It was in the paper. Lucky's.
And nobody was hurt.
Nobody got hurt.
No one was there.
Lucky.
Sparky might have got good thing Sparky was
How's
gone.
Sparky
might have got
feeling?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, my
The
God.
back of it collapsed. It might have hit Sparky if he was still alive.
We're going to bring Vin back from the West Coast. It really doesn't do us any good.
No, it's burnt down.
He's hooking up with women with penises. And
I think we should have
And getting
when we
his
go
ass
live.
beat.
We should have where you can ask Vin Yee something live on them. Just
Oh
type
my
in
God.
ask Vin Yee.
That was tough.
That was tough.
that was tough.
Producer John,
Yes.
do you have a newsroom.com?
Come on, what do you got?
And it better
I'm
not be.
going to make the George Washington version.
Okay, thank you.
147
132 words.
132 words.
or less. I can name that.
Most of them aren't even being used anymore.
No.
In our vocabulary.
Right.
Today's subject goes back to the 1960s, the Boston Strangler.
Oh yeah.
It was a series of murders where 13 women between 1962 and 64 were killed. They were strangled, obviously. Typically older women whose deaths were marked by similar characteristics, including they were all sexually assaulted and they were all left in various states of undress. There was a burglary where a guy who was posing as a detective talked his way into this lady's house, and he sexually assaulted her, but he left before he didn't kill her. He just he said sorry, he left, he ran out. The gal gave a description to the police. The police ended up locking up this man named Albert DeSalvo. So they bring in DeSalvo, and this kind of, this event kind of mirrored the other murders, but it, obviously didn't kill her. So they charge him with this sexual assault, and he ends up confessing to another inmate when he's locked up that he's the Boston Strangler. The other inmate's attorney was F. Lee Bailey, famous,
O.J. Simpson?
lawyer. Yeah, O.J. Simpson. So Bailey takes DeSalvo's case too. Well, Bailey doesn't really think that DeSalvo did the murders, but he wants to get him a plea of insanity, innocent by insanity. So he brings all this in, his confessions to Bailey of doing these other murders. Well, the judge doesn't have it. It's not brought in, and DeSalvo ends up getting convicted of the assault on this woman who fingered him. So, but people.
Let's rephrase that whole thing. I mean that.
Can you guys be adults on this?
I mean,
Did she play pickleball?
I mean, is there any way you could just rephrase that? Let's just go back.
The person who identified him as
Identified.
the assailant.
For heaven's sake, producer
You guys
John.
are goofballs. So anyway,
I'm 12.
Kindergarten.
Let's get back. So she fingered him.
yes,
All right, go
not
on.
the other way around.
Right.
So, so anyway, but people tend to think that he's the Boston Strangler because he confessed to it. So he gets convicted. He goes to they do send him to a state hospital, and he breaks out, and he actually takes on the identity of a naval petty officer, and there's this manhunt looking for him, but he voluntarily turns himself in, and they put him in a maximum security prison where, a couple years later, he ends up getting murdered by a fellow inmate, and he's dead. So, but the interesting thing is that nobody's ever been actually fingered as the
Boston
Boston
Strangler.
Boston
Strangler.
Strangler, or
Right.
I just wanted to go with the whole finger thing.
So he could. So he actually could have been.
He could have been.
So the Boston Strangler and the Zodiac are basically unsolved.
Yeah, and there was a couple cases where they had DNA. Not that DNA was the thing back then, but subsequently they had some DNA, and he was not connected to that crime through the DNA that they did have, and a lot of the criminologists think that there was multiple
Boston Strangler.
Boston Stranglers, and but it was pretty.
Not the Zodiac. They kind of know.
Well, they kind of knew, but they never actually solved it. They're still doing some high tech DNA.
Zodiac. They're pretty confident, about who that
Right.
person was, but Boston Strangler might still be out there somewhere.
I doubt it.
And
Pretty
Wow.
well right now.
Wow.
He's probably playing pickleball
No, he's not.
in the senior league.
You got a hell of a backhand. The Boston Stranglers out there just tracking them down, just whipping. You might have played the Boston Strangler. didn't you?
Who knows?
Over the years.
Who knows?
Just ran into him. He's out there just whipping backhands.
I don't think Danny finds that funny.
I did find that funny, that clip you sent me on the pickleball, the lady in a wheelchair. I know I beat her last week in a round robin.
We do get a lot of people forwarding us pickleball.
I can
shorts
take it.
What's your
It's fun.
rating? What is your rating? You got your rating up yet?
I don't have an official ranking.
Why?
I don't know.
Losing focus?
I'm not losing focus. I'm just not playing in tournaments that give me a ranking. So
You don't need that.
There's
You don't
that.
need. You rank yourself.
What's Corby Campbell up to?
It's all about yourself.
What's
you
Corby
rank
Campbell
yourself.
up to?
Securing people.
Keeping
Protecting
people safe?
Keeping people safe. Just what they
Yeah,
do.
you better hire his ass next time you go through Sunset Hills.
yeah. You better hire him.
All right. There's a lot of cuts that need to be made. I don't think that's going to make the cut list, though.
I know. I drive purposely around Sunset Hills now to get home.
No, I got to.
You should.
And that was a complete. I don't know where that came
Full
from.
pop.
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where it came from.
No, I
That
know
was
where
a
it
good
came
one.
from. It's how you feel.
No, it's usually, whatever, dude.
Corby Campbell.
Where we're at,
Where do you reach?
CampbellSecurityGroup.com. You get on there, you tell them your needs, businesses, personal, neighborhood. They got it all. He employs several current and former law enforcement officers for his projects, and so you just get a hold of Corby at CampbellSecurityGroup.com. But you know what? If you needed something printed, you know where you go.
Oh yeah.
Marvel Printing. Mark Colombini, friend of the show, husband of Michelle Stanzi, patron of the Stanza Beanies.
Stanza beanies.
The Stanza Beanies. And Marvell Printing is at 1928 South Broadway. You can reach them at 314-231-1477, marvellprinting.com. Marvell Printing is a full-service union print shop that has been serving the local community since 1920. They offer a variety of printing services. I can't even read my own writing. They offer a variety of printing services designed to assist local businesses get their projects printed quickly, professionally, and at a competitive price. Marvell Printing.
You know, I don't know. This has been a bizarre episode for us. The same episode that I repeat the famous second inauguration speech of George Washington. We have
132 words.
132. We have Vin Yee talking crap on the phone. Just seems odd.
They're all over the place.
We were all over the place. It was a
Got a
shocking
little
approach.
Candyland in there.
Got Candyland in there. It's very diverse
Finger.
show.
A lot of people
Yeah,
got finger.
Boston Stranglers.
He's got people
Yeah,
getting finger.
unsolved murder. What about our communities, Tommy?
There are a lot, when you support law enforcement, communities that do so are a lot safer places to live.
Safer places to live.
Support your local law enforcement.
Like, subscribe, and share.
You know who? And we got this good interview that's coming up with the chief of New Haven and chief of Hermann.
Enjoy it.
It is brought to you by the family of Charlie and Molly Vitale, who have pitched in and helped our podcast tremendously. They're huge supporters of the police. They are huge supporters of the St. Louis Police Foundation, and they would like to encourage those that have the means to do so to get a hold of the St. Louis Police Foundation and donate. And the St. Louis Police Foundation provides local law enforcement equipment that is needed to perform their duties.
So ask Charlie in his concrete world, because I'm a fountain of knowledge. Does he know that the Romans developed the strongest concrete? It was made out of volcanic ash, limestone, and rubble. And they had the strongest, JJ quit. They had the strongest concrete. The reason the aqueducts and the Pantheon are still standing is because the Romans developed this strong ass concrete. Tell Charlie
like
about
it.
that.
So you think he should be using
You
that?
should save
No,
that for
he
next
is using it. That's
podcast.
why he's such a great concreter.
He's probably some form of it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Volcanic
'Cause their
ash,
shit doesn't go away.
limestone, and rubble, and those Romans. they
VJ
built it.
Cement
So
It's solid.
there's, take that. Peace.
out.